Hello, welcome girls.
Hello.
So I have three lovely Year 11 girls who have come to talk to me about worries. Okay, we have started off here at Henley School with a worry box. We also, for those of you who don't know, have an email address which is worries@henleyschool.com. So if you don't feel like you're ready to put it in the box but you want to talk, then feel free to email us. But I'm going to go around the table and get the girls to introduce themselves to start with. So we'll start over on this side of the table. So if you could make a start for me, please. So hello.
Hello, I'm Aisha Audrey and I'm in Year 11.
Hi, I'm Lucy Hopper and I'm in Year 11.
Hi, I'm Caris and I'm also in Year 11.
So thank you for joining me, girls. Now, hopefully you have joined by choice and this isn't just sort of some coercion that we have started. So the worry box at the moment has this in there. Okay, so one singular worry. I have two that was sent to the email box, and then these girls are going to talk through what matters to them. And if you would like to come and be in their seat and talk with the girls, and you would like to be here and help, the door is open. Okay, these Year 11s are started because they are being brave and they are taking a good opportunity here. So, of the three of you girls, thank you. First of all, thank you for coming. Is there anybody that would like to start off with something that, obviously, you've been one of the troubled year groups. As a year group, you were hit pretty hard with lockdown, being put back. So they've been put back by 3 weeks for most subjects. So I'm going to open the floor out to anybody who would like to talk about anything currently that is concerning them school-wise.
I think just the fact that you never know whether this could be your last day or you'll have to leave for 2 weeks.
Because they could all of a sudden say we're in a lockdown and school's closed again. So should that happen, okay, so just sort of go on a sort of imaginary journey with me for a minute. That happens tomorrow. They say, right, Henley's closed for 2 weeks. What's your first thing you're doing? Okay, tomorrow. What's your first? Aisha, what's your first thing that you're doing tomorrow?
Double checking that I can access all of my show my homework and Microsoft Teams and stuff, and then contact anybody if I'm having trouble with anything else.
Lucy, what are you doing? So we close tomorrow. You're back home again, as we were. What are you doing?
I'd check Teams and show my homework for the work.
Okay, so what are you doing first up?
Probably text all my friends.
To see what they're doing?
Yeah.
Do you not think that this time round, because you were the year group that was really sort of placed under scrutiny and you were sort of used quite heavily as a trial really for the teachers, do you think you'd be better prepared this time round? Is there something now? Because I'm guessing there was a lot of panic, really. Do you think you'd be better able to cope with it? Or do you think... Are you happier in school, first of all? And do you think you'd be able to cope with it, would be my two questions.
Yeah, happier in school.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you think you would better cope this time round because you've experienced it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
So what would you tell the current year 10s, okay, who in your situation, what would you tell them to be their advice? What would you advise them? What would your advice be?
I'll tell them to just keep working hard and not to worry about it too much.
Just live every day like it's your last and just enjoy it when you can.
Yeah, it's really important actually, although the work is obviously important, that you do need switch off time. And I think I was just as guilty as a lot of staff were, that because you're in front of your screen and you're at home, it's much easier to stay there all day and rather than get up and you would move, even moving between lessons and breaks and lunches. Actually, I found personally that you end up just sitting there all day. So actually taking that breather time is definitely a good point. Aisha, what would you advise?
And if you can try and get outside, then that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, coming into the winter months, that's less and less. I mean, the only positive was how nice the weather was during lockdown. So that was whose was that? I've lost track now. Whose was that? That was okay, so that was yours. So Lucy, what would your one thing be?
I don't know.
You don't know yet. We'll come back. Aisha?
Concerned about if I was to catch coronavirus and then give it to one of my family members, probably.
Okay, yeah. So that's something that's obviously a worry, I'm guessing, for absolutely everybody. I mean, as the younger generation, I don't include myself, sadly, in this anymore, but as the younger generation, you're actually the least, we've talked about this a lot in school, that you're the least at risk group. I think at home, the advice is just the same, isn't it? That if you're at home, then hand washing is the best possible course of action that you can take. That making sure that you're washing your hands regularly is the thing around it. And actually, that's all we can really do. If you catch it, that you might not even know you have it. So that this constant worry of do I have it is not one really we can live with, sadly, because we just don't know. Some people may be symptomatic, and actually your whole household may go through it asymptomatic and not even realise. And it is a hard one because it's obviously a serious virus. But I would say just continuing to try and do the things we're doing in school, washing hands and rather than sanitising. If you can wash, obviously that's better than sanitising hands and doing that. So rather than putting Lucy back on the spot again, is there anything else anyone would like to say on this? Or we have it? Has anyone got anything they'd like to add in on? Nope. So just making sure. Girls, I haven't tested these on you yet, but these do have some really funky bits of music that we can add in. So at some point we're going to press these buttons and see what happens with them. So if I can think of a joke, or if you can think of a joke, we do have that to go with it. And even if the joke's not funny, we have a round of applause.
That's good.
If the joke doesn't go well, we have that. And I can add this in as well if it has it. So I've got you covered in case you want to tell a joke. Again, no pressure. So I've got one of the worry box. So thank you for dropping this in. So into the worry box was, I'm worried about my exams being cancelled from somebody in year 10. Now, the fact of the matter is on this is that we just don't know, and it is a worry for yourselves. And I know that there was the panic. I would say from a teaching point of view, the people that were best prepared and actually did okay from the GCSEs were the people that had been working from the start. As teachers, we put in our assessments, and that is looking at a whole bank of evidence from their classwork to their mock results, and actually that if your exams were cancelled through whatever happened, if you end up in the same position, the people that have worked hard and have put the effort in actually were rewarded it with that with good results as well. So I would say if you're worried about your exams being cancelled, make it a sort of a plan that actually you're working hard now, so that should that ever, you've got prior assessments and you've got classwork, because it doesn't just go on a mock result. Some people thought that was the case. It wasn't. You didn't just get given your mock score. There was quite a sort of a detailed process that went into that. So, Lucy, coming back to put the pressure on, do we have anything at all that you're worried about? Anything at all in school or out of school?
I think mainly exams, that they won't cut enough out of the exam that you'll be able to revise for everything. So
because, just so I'm getting this right, so because they've decided they're going to take some bits out, you're hoping they've taken out either the right bits or enough that there's still enough time to cover it. Hopefully with the extra 3 weeks that they're talking about, or that they've announced, actually, that should help. And actually the guidance should be coming back through to teachers again as to what exactly that will be. So worries completed, I think, so far. I know it's episode 1. We will press on, and next time. But I want to ask you a few questions about how school has been for you coming back. I want to talk about that. So we have had huge changes in school. We have had one-way systems. We've had different queuing systems. We've had split lunches. We've had all sorts of hand sanitizer stations, wipe different classroom bells. It goes on and on and on and on. I want to ask your opinion on the split lunch, because my point of view is that it is much better. Okay, I am a massive fan, and actually would definitely be for the split lunch after this. What are your girls' thoughts from year 11, your point of view?
I don't think it actually changed much because we had the same lunch. To me, it hasn't really made a difference, but I don't know.
So it hasn't changed your day-to-day at all?
No, not really.
What about the lunch queues? For me, they used to be enormous all of the time, and now no matter what time I walk, I don't know what you go still for lunch, but no matter what time I walk through the lunch queue now, there isn't a big queue. It just isn't there.
No.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
There's literally like 3 people in there. That's it.
And that's it. So what's been the hardest change in school? What's been the hardest change?
Trying to remember social distancing.
Yeah.
Constantly all the way around the school, because you can kind of get like used to not being like quite close.
And how's the one-way system been?
I think it's really difficult to know where to go.
Yeah. You have to be guide to like people, be like, oh no, it's actually this way, you're walking the wrong way.
Yeah. You have to use your brain a lot more.
Yeah.
And So you now have a bell that stops to wipe down rooms, and either start at the end of lesson. And how's that? Because that does put a bit of pressure. There's no getting around that because the time frame's short. How has that been? Has that been manageable so far?
Yes, so far.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And final things, we have hit 10 minutes, so I promised girls 10 minutes to start with. I'm hoping that soon, so by episode 4, we'll be like half an hour and I won't be able to shut the three of you up and we'll be constantly just in full conversation, but I'm aware that it is difficult. There's been lots of wires. The girls helped me set it up expertly. And there's a lot of new sort of shiny equipment in their face. But what, looking forward, okay, so we've got GCSEs coming up. Are we still confident that we're going to catch up? Are we confident that actually we've got plans in place? And where is your sort of pinch points really? What are you which part of the year are you most worried about? Is it mock exams? Is it next week's homework? Is it the exams themselves? What's our current sort of status, if you like? If you could rate yourself, how are you feeling?
I think like a 7 because it's not anything to do with the mocks, but when you get like given homework, you just have to make sure you like sort through it every night. And I think in year 11 you just get a bit more. So yeah.
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 So we're happy with a 7 on that.
Yeah, definitely.
And what could we do as teachers? Obviously, I haven't got a magic wand or magic money tree, sadly. But what could help? What would help?
Instead of setting homework, set revision instead.
Because then it gives you like widespread, like if you know that you're struggling on something mainly, you can just focus on that point.
And this would be revision with an end, so sort of a mini assessment or something along those lines. So revision would happen. Okay, so thank you initially, girls. I've taken sort of a good sort of 12, 13 minutes. I know I promised this on 3 separate occasions and I forgot the camera, which wasn't ideal. And then for one reason or another, we ran out of time. But I would like, because it is a big deal, to come and sit with microphones and headphones. And it's weird to hear yourself through headphones for the first time. Okay, I've done it a lot before through other means, but I'm guessing for some of you, this might be the first time you hear yourself through a headphone, which doesn't sound like it would be weird, but actually is. Because you actually hear your own voice as if you're not there, because normally you hear it in your head and it probably sounds different to what you're hearing it through on the headphones. So thank you for giving up your time, because it has been some of your time. Hopefully I haven't scared you off too much and you will come back.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is some sort of help to other students. The aim of this is although as much as I enjoy chatting to the three of you, because it's a nice way to spend my afternoon, hopefully we're going to try and help some people. The only way we can do that is if you are using the worry box or using the email to give us something else to talk about. So it's goodbye from me and girls.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And what should we go with at the end? Maybe a round of applause, because you've done so well. I know we are. A round of applause for Sarah. Thank you.
Henley-in-Arden School, achieving excellence together.